Well, it's make or break time here at Molineux. Wolves find themselves in 8th place in the table going into today's game and 4 points behind a playoff place. And it's absolutely vital after 2 successive defeats that they get a win under their belts against Oxford United today. Missing from the lineup today with a hamstring injury will be Paul Cook, but he's joined us here in the commentary position and he'll be hoping as much as the players on the pitch for 3 points. Looking forward to a win this afternoon, Paul.
Yeah, I think it's very important we get to win this afternoon. There's still 4 games to go to the end of the season and we're still in with a good chance of getting in the playoffs, and a win today is very important.
Oxford won't be in the best of moods. They've lost their last 2 games, a little like Wolves, and they've made 2 changes from the side that lost on Easter Monday. Les Phillips comes in midfield and Bobby Muttock at number 9 for John Durnin, who finds himself on the subs bench. Wolves themselves make a couple of changes. Keith Downing is in for the injured Paul Cook, and Shane Wesley finds himself out of favour with Mark Venus in the central defensive role. On the bench, it's a welcome return for John Paskin and Paul Jones in the number 14 shirt. So a fascinating encounter this afternoon, and one which is absolutely vital for Wolves if they're to have any chance of staying in the playoff chase, to get a win this afternoon. Our Wolves will kick off attacking the goal towards our right. It'll be Steve Walder and Paul McLaughlin, who's in for the suspended Andy Much, to get us underway, and the ball straight out to Tim Steele. Keith Downing quickly, and Mickey Lewis though gets the challenging very quickly. The ball towards Mark Stein, trying to find space, seemed to be backing into Mark Venus there to create that space, but referee Keith Hackett awarding an early free kick, and Oxford at the kick-off seem to be lining up with 5 at the back there, Paul.
Yeah, I think they've come to contain us. They're playing with 3 centre-halves and obviously 2 full-backs, but they're also playing with 4 men across midfield. So I think they're going to give Mark Stein a free roll up front on his own, which it should enable us to keep a clean sheet, hopefully, but I think it's going to be difficult to get goals.
Gary Bellamy trying to get a tackle in there. The ball ricochets away, Bobby Muttock after it. Robbie Dennison does well to keep it in play and cuts it inside for Nigel Vaughan. Very quick challenge there by Les Phillips. Gets the return pass. Keith Downing in, a little bit of a late challenge there. He holds his hand up, admits that perhaps he was a little late getting there. Sorry, ref, quick as I could. Of course, Keith Downing has been absent with a hamstring injury himself, sustained early in the game against Leicester City. Free kick fired in towards Foster, tries to get a foot on it. Simpson, well, that wasn't far away from Mark Kendall's right-hand post. He has a word with the Wolves defence. Had an early chance for him to get a goal kick, but Paul Simpson not too far away with that effort. And Wolves will have to be careful not to concede a goal. In the manager's notes in the programme, he talks about the desperation that's crept in at times when Wolves have gone behind in their last couple of games, and he warns them against that should they go behind against Oxford today. Venus too far, and Alan Judge gets his first touch of the afternoon. Bellamy, Lewis, Tom Bennett getting the header in. Tim Steele back to his captain. Steele challenging well, but that'll be a free kick. There's a foul on Mike Ford by Tim Steele. A free kick just inside the Oxford half to be taken by Mike Ford. Again fired in hard, but Gary Bellamy comes to meet it and makes a good headed clearance. Tom Bennett curls it forward, McLaughlin helps it on, but the head-banded Steve Foster, a little bit slow perhaps, Steve Bull getting the foot in and forcing the error from the Oxford United captain. Well, he's a bit of a character, Steve Foster, and having a few words there with the linesman. Felt that should have gone the other way. It's a Wolves throw. McLaughlin controls it, just spins out of play. No complaint from McLaughlin, in contrast to Foster. That'll be an Oxford throw. But a quiet opening, Paul, a little bit subdued here.
Yeah, I think it's going to take us a few minutes to get used to the pace of the game and that. Obviously they've come here just for a draw possibly, or maybe to try and sneak a win. So it's up to us to break them down. But I think if we can be patient, obviously the chances will come, and it's important that we take one of them.
Possibly a chance here for Wolves, but the clearance goes back. Keith Downing in there harrying, and Mike Ford has to concede the throw. He's so good at that, Keith Downing. Tom Bennett trying to find space for the cross, but gets it into Keith Downing. Good cross by Bennett. Judge will have to leap for that one, and Bull was threatening behind him. Alan Judge not happy with his defence there. Felt that the cross should have been closed down. But it's a corner to Wolves, the first corner of the game. Out on that far side for Robbie Dennison to curl in. And towards the front post, Gary Bellamy there, but Steve Foster making the header. Nigel Vaughan giving it back to Dennison. Not a good cross that time, and Steen could be there, but Thompson in quickly. Steele and Thompson combining well. A good ball from Thompson towards McLaughlin. Gets the header down to Steele. This is promising for Wolves. Bennett inside to Dennison. Good control, but Kerry Evans in very quickly and concedes the throw. Bennett. It's not a great cross from him. Really picking out nobody. But Wolves beginning to exert a bit of pressure now. The throw in taken by Thompson long over the top of Mark Steen to Bellamy. Back to Mark Venus. Aimed that one forward low, but wasn't a good pass, and Keith Downing decides to give Mark Kendall a touch. And I think, as Paul Cook says, it's really going to be a case of whether Wolves can break down a well-organised Oxford side who've obviously come here with no great intentions of attacking. Evans, the clearance. Venus misjudged it, and Steen's in there. It's the return ball. Lays it back. Phillips, not a good one from him though, straight into Nigel Vaughan. Mustoe. Downing now with the opportunity to clear it for Wolves. He aims it towards McLaughlin, but wasn't particularly accurate. Well, there are a few blank areas in the crowd this afternoon. Not the best attendance Wolves have experienced this season. That's well played there. Paul Simpson, he's had a couple of cracks in the first 2 minutes and did well there to bring the ball down under control and get the shot in, and really could have caused Mark Kendall some problems there. Steve Bull gets a faintest of flick-ons. Forward it was with the clearance, and Simpson trying to help it on its way, but that could fall over the back of Steve Foster. No, he gets a good header in. Bennett back to Bellamy, and now Venus. Not a lot of pressure on the Wolves back four, and they'll be instrumental in probing them forward this afternoon. Thompson with the forward pass. And the throw quickly taken, and Steve Foster not really watching what's going on there. He's out of position, but Alan Judge reads the danger, drops the ball, and ball's there. It's in the back. No, just past the post. The referee's awarded the goal kick. No, he's got his arm up. It's presumably an indirect free kick. So A little bit of confusion there. The ball looked like it was going to make its way into the back of the net, but the referee deciding it was a foul on Alan Judge. A little bit of a dubious decision there, perhaps, Paul?
Yeah, I think the keeper come and he made a good catch, but as he landed, the ball seemed to get out of his grasp, and Bully was so quick to react that he just played the ball against on the defenders. Unfortunately for us, it went wide, but I think it was surely a corner. There was no infringement on the keeper.
So often these days, the keeper gets the benefit of the doubt. That same forward for Steen. The Bellamy's in the air, surely. Steen jumping straight at the defender. He's got little chance of winning the ball in the air against Gary Bellamy. Tim Steele back to Bennett. Foster. And a brave ball back from Mike Ford there, just across the face of Steve Bull, and back to his keeper. It's going to be a test of Wolves' creative abilities to break down this Oxford defence, but that's what they need to do. The referee waves play on. Looked like a bit of a push in the back by Gary Bellamy. McLaughlin goes to cut off the pass back to the keeper. Muttock makes a good clearance. Musto challenging Venus into Dennison. I don't think the pass was intended for him. Referee waves play on. It looked like a foul by Gary Smart on Robbie Dennison. But Keith Hackett was well positioned. Maybe could have been a foul there.
Yeah, I think it was a foul on Robbie Dennison, but at the minute the referee's tending to let a lot of things go. I don't know if he's trying to let the game flow, but I think a couple of free kicks around the box would favour Wolves in them positions.
Good work by Simpson. He looks a tricky customer. He's in again with a chance now. Shape for the shot. Felt he hadn't got room. Tries to curl it in and hits it straight at Bennett. But Simpson's having a good start to the game, and Wolves will have to be on their mettle. That's a good ball by Keith Downing. Tim Steele making the run. Keeps it in play, but there's no one there to get the cross in. Has to hold it for a second. The ball just flicked away. And that was good work by Wolves, and particularly good work by Keith Downing. He called Steve Bull back, and the defence seemed to be watching Bull and not aware of the danger from Tim Steele. And it's Steele again now down this right-hand side. That's knocked a little too far, make it too easy for Mike Ford. And Kerry Evans gets a clearance. Bellamy under pressure from Stein. The Wolves working well, stringing their passes together. And really all the play in the Oxford half at the moment, but Wolves have got to make the final pass count. Phillips inside to Musto, swings it out to the right. Smart plays it back to Musto, just behind Les Phillips. Nigel Vaughan combining well with Keith Downing. It's a good ball around the outside for McLaughlin. Tries the first time cross, Foster there. The clearance not a good one, straight into Thompson. And straight to Alan Judge, but really Wolves having all of the play in the first 10 minutes here, Paul.
Yes, we're starting to exert a bit of pressure now. I think if we can start getting the ball out wide to Robbie Dennison and Tim Steele, and perhaps get round the back of them, I think we'll have some joy there.
A long ball again. Bellamy gets the header in. Venus. Ball with a chance now. Fouled though by Smart as the ball went past him. He just left his leg in there and prevented Bull from getting a run on goal. A little bit of professional foul defending actually from the Oxford defence. And Thompson stands over it, runs over it. Dennison, that's a good cross, and Bellamy gets the header in. Nobody to capitalise on the header back across the goal from the Wolves captain, but it was a cracking header from Bellamy. Thompson in quickly. There's an offside flag there, just catching Paul Simpson as he strayed offside. Wolves defence pushing well up to the halfway line. Venus takes it to Nigel Vaughan. That's into the feet of Steve Bull. Up off his knee and out to Tim Steele. Gives himself room for the cross, just behind. But Wolves certainly coming forward in numbers. It'll really just be a case of whether they can get a telling cross in. An early goal would force Oxford perhaps to reconsider and come forward in greater numbers and perhaps create greater opportunities then for Wolves. At the moment it's just over 10 minutes gone and remains 0-0. That's a good ball into Steen's feet, shields it well. Bellamy the clearance, that'll go straight out of play for the throw, and Mike Ford will take it. These two sides have met only 3 times previously in the Football League, because of course Oxford only joined the Football League in 1962, and as yet Wolves have failed to beat them. Earlier this season they met at the Manor Ground just before Christmas, and the game ended in a 2-2 draw. Wolves will be hoping for the full 3 points this afternoon as Bull gets the flick on. McLaughlin in there, the clearance by Evans. Only as far as Tom Bennett. Bellamy across to Venus. There's no need for Wolves to panic. A goal could come at any time. Bull steps over the ball. I'm not sure whether he intended the dummy. It was effective, but unfortunately no one behind him to pick up on Foster's error. But really there's no pressure on Wolves to score early though, really, Paul.
No, I think as the game goes on, obviously we will get some chances during the 90 minutes. It's just important we don't concede one at the back. I mean, obviously they're only playing one lad up front, so it's easy to say, but I mean, Simpson looks very lively at the start, so we've got to make sure we don't give anything away, and hopefully if we get one, that it forces Oxford to come out and start having a go for the equaliser. Maybe we can get 2 or 3.
That's a great ball by Gary Bellamy, picking out Robbie Dennison on that far side. He's got behind the defence. Can he get the cross in now? Gets into the area, fires the shot in. Well saved and just away from Nigel Vaughan's toe as he came in. That's a race between Simpson and Bennett. That'll go out for the goal kick though. Some thoughts that might have been a corner. The Wolves fans not agreeing with Keith Hackett and appealing for the corner, but Alan Judge will take the goal kick. Well, Oxford understandably haven't brought too many travelling supporters with them today, and a disappointing Easter from Wolves fans' point of view has left a few spaces on the Molyneux terracing and in the John Ireland stand. And the crowd this afternoon only around the 13,500 mark, but victory this afternoon could put Wolves back in the hunt. The header by Foster helped on its way by Mike Ford. Venus coming in quickly on the edge, gets a good cross in, the header up by Evans, and Judge comes, calls and collects, but that could have dropped anywhere. Good work by Mark Venus, and Wolves beginning to look threatening. Naturally enough, the Wolves fans warning the Oxford defence that Bull is going to get them. We'll have to wait and see about that. With 15 minutes gone, it remains Wolves 0, Oxford 0. Simpson. Vaughan gets a foot in and Bennett makes the clearance, but only as far as Ford, and he looks up and sees Robbie Mustoe with only a one-on-one with Mark Venus. But Wolves number 4 did well, and Andy Thompson clears up back to Mark Kendall. Ford with the header, well controlled by Tom Bennett. Sees the run from Bull behind. Cuts round Foster, well, just extending a leg there, the former Luton and Brighton player. The clearance only as far as Tom Bennett. It's a good cross in, and Dennison almost in there behind. And Gary Smart didn't realise the Northern Ireland winger had come round him. And just inches away from getting a foot on it there, Robbie Dennison, but it's a Wolves throw on that far side, and this pressure now on the Oxford defence almost incessant. Now McLaughlin in, gets the cross in, and curls away just over the bar and out for a goal kick. This could backfire on Oxford, that they're letting Wolves come at them here, Paul.
Yeah, I think with playing one up front, we're getting a lot of possession at the back, and Mark Venus and Gary Bellamy have used the ball really well so far. Andy Thompson's getting a lot of space on the left, and Tom Bennett's getting a bit of space on the right, and he's knocked one or two great balls in already. I think if Oxford were to play more men up front, it wouldn't give us as much easy possession, but the easy possessions result in us in getting a few chances, so hopefully we can convert one of them soon.
Certainly, it looks odds on a Wolves win, the way that things have been going in the first quarter of an hour, but sides will always get chances in a game, and Wolves have got to be on their guard, because a goal behind could have a disastrous effect. The throw taken, Tim Steele trying to get a foot in there, but Mustoe now. Thompson challenging as well, has to concede the throw in. Felt he was being pulled back. Ford takes it into Steen. Very strong with his back to goal, gets the ball back to Ford. That's a good cross in. Venus makes the clearance. Steele sets it up for Tom Bennett, but kicks it, and Steen in quickly. Downing in. A clearance by Kerry Evans, hits straight at Downing, and now ball, it's 3-on-2. He'll fire one, gets the return and tries again with his left foot, straight at Alan Judge. Well, really had two options there on either side of him, as well as having a go himself. McLaughlin had pulled away to the left, and Downing, after forcing the shot down, had followed it through and was on his right. But Bull inevitably tried the shot himself. It hit Steve Foster. He got it back, and with his less strong left foot, hit a not too powerful shot straight into Alan Judge. But a good opportunity for Steve Bull there, Paul.
Yeah, he had one or two options either side of him, but when you get in them positions around the box, obviously you've got to have a shot. He let fly the first one, which was unlucky, and he had a little bite at the second, so it was a good half chance for us there.
Offside flag up there. The referee waves play on, keeping the game flowing, doing a good job on that, Keith Hackett. Maybe, as Paul Cook says, there could have been a couple of free kicks early on, but nice to see the game flowing. And certainly it's flowing Wolves' way at the moment, and with all of the attacks on Alan Judge's goal. A couple of shots for Mark Kendall to save early on from Paul Simpson, but really of no trouble to the Wolves keeper. Badly judged there by Bobby Muttock. Kerry Evans trying to make the clearance. Keith Downing judging it well. Thompson. Downing tries to give him the return. Thompson can't get round. It'll run out for a goal kick on that far side. And time for a little bit of attention to Steve Bull. I think he may have taken a knock to the face. Maybe a defender's elbow there. Seems to be in a little bit of pain as the Wolves physio Paul Darby comes out to administer the cold sponge, I think. Steve Foster standing there trying to sort out his defence, and he's got plenty of defenders to choose from. And applause in unison from Paul McLaughlin and Tim Steele, exhorting their fellow Wolves players to greater effort. And really, it's a matter of patience here. It almost seems inevitable that Wolves will get some chances, but it's how well this Oxford defence can hold out. And a good header by Foster, but Evans has to follow it up with another. Dennison being judged to have jumped on Gary Smart. It's a free kick quickly taken by Foster to Smart. Steen calling for it in the middle and gets it. The ball play forward by Lewis to Ford. And that'll be Tom Bennett will let it run out of play. The call of time from Mark Kendall lets it run out for a Wolves throw. The crowd very subdued. You can usually tell how quiet the crowd is by how much you can hear the players shouting on the pitch, and certainly you can hear plenty of calling at the moment. Foster back to Judge. And it's at times like these when the crowd could really lift the team, Paul, and perhaps get behind them and give them a bit of a boost.
Yeah, I think obviously the crowd have they've come to watch the game. That's nice for them to get behind, but also they need a little bit of excitement. And I think we've just got to keep plugging away, keep getting the ball forward into the right areas, and I'm sure we'll get the chances to score the goal.
McLaughlin tried to lay it back to Thompson, but it span out of play. A difficult ball there for Paul McLaughlin, to be fair. It was spinning as it dropped from the ricochet off Robbie Dennison. Keith Hackett not happy with where Gary Smart was intending to take the throw from. Calls him back a couple of yards. Robbie Mustoe getting the flick on, but Gary Bellamy will have no problems with that as he clears it back to Mark Kendall. Tim Steele rushes to take it quickly, finds McLaughlin with a throw. It's a good opportunity for a cross, but not a good one, but it's high and it could cause problems for Judge. He's not the biggest keeper in the league. The ball dropping in that area and Evans having to make a hurried clearance. The Wolves fans were rather hoping that there might have been a gold and black boot to fire that one towards the Oxford goal. And what looked like a poor cross from Tim Steele in the first place caused Judge all sorts of problems, and that could well be a feature of Wolves' play this afternoon as they put pressure on Alan Judge in the United goal. Mickey Lewis being caught for a challenge on Keith Downing. Keith Hackett awards the free kick. Steele back to Bellamy. Everyone but Mark Kendall in the United half now. And you almost feel there's so much pressure and so little danger from Oxford at the moment that Mark Kendall might even join the attack. Alan Judge having no problems with that cross. And kick aim towards Mustoe. Gets the header on. Bellamy in quickly, and it's a lovely ball over the top for Tim Steele to chase. He's behind the defence. There's two in the middle, but four Oxford defenders. It's going to have to be a good cross. The header by Kerry Evans away for the corner, the second corner of the game. Both of them to Wolves so far. And that ball out wide, as Paul Cook said, is really the key to unlock this Oxford United defence. Tim Steele and Robbie Dennison could get behind the back five that United have lined up with and perhaps create an opportunity for the Wolves forwards as they come into the box. But another injury, this time to Alan Judge, soon to have taken a knock to the face himself, will delay the corner to being taken by Robbie Dennison. Of course, Paul Cook, who's up in the commentary box at the moment, normally takes the corners from the left-hand side as he curls them in with his left foot, but Robbie Dennison will be called on to take them from both angles today. But as the game goes on, the anxiety will build up, no doubt, in the Wolves players, Paul.
Yeah, I think as everyone knows, we have to win today really to keep our playoff hopes alive, and I think as the game progresses the fans will become more and more agitated. But there's a little chance here.
Well, the ball fired in by Mark Venus, but there'd been a foul in the first place on Bobby Muttock. The referee signalling the free kick, but Mark Venus getting a good shot in the end, and it had to be cleared off the line by, I think it was probably Mickey Lewis back there guarding the post. But a free kick nonetheless. Steen winning the first time he's won the ball in the air against Gary Bellamy. Tries to create space for himself by backing in. Keith Downing goes flying in on Les Phillips, getting an appreciative intake of breath from the south bank, and Andy Thompson doing well there to get the ball back to Mark Kendall and cut out any possible danger. That's a good kick by Kendall. Bull makes the jump, but Foster wins the header. Tim Steele back to Gary Bellamy. Played so many balls forward already, and that wasn't a good one. Bennett floating it into McLaughlin, gets the header down. I think he was expecting Tim Steele to make the run outside forward. Forwards caught in that corner, and Tim Steele wins it back off him. Great work by the winger, but not a good cross by Tom Bennett. He'll get a chance now. Ford having to put it out of play. Les Phillips had rather sold Mike Ford there with the ball. And he had to concede the throw in. McLaughlin back to Bennett. Downing, a late challenge coming in from Lewis. That'll be a goal kick. Referee Keith Hackett will run across and have a word with Mickey Lewis. He'd spotted that late challenge but let the game carry on. Out of shot of your camera. He's just had a quick word with him. One more of those and he may well be making an entry into Mr. Hackett's book. Downing making the header. And have another opportunity to get it forward. McLaughlin, Evans holding on to him, but does well there, McLaughlin, to get the ball onto Tim Steele. He's got two marking him, and it's Mickey Lewis that makes the challenge. Puts the ball out for a throw, which Tom Bennett will take. Bennett makes the cross. It wasn't a good one, but it'll drop for Thompson. He flicks it over the top for ball now. Can he get in with a shot? Fires one in just across the Wolves goal. McLaughlin was coming in. Bull did well with his left foot there, but Andy Thompson did exceptionally well to chip the ball over for Steve Bull and give him the opportunity to get round behind that Oxford United defence. Good ball in there, Paul.
It was a great ball from Andy Thompson. It's come out very high, and he's done so well to control it and get into Bully's path. And Bully's done the right thing. He's hit it right across the face of the goal where it could possibly fly in the net, or even someone like Paul McLaughlin or Tim Steele coming in the back post might have scored.
Perhaps Wolves' best chance there, falling to their top goal scorer, Steve Bull. Dennison now. Venus turning towards McLaughlin, but Muttock makes the headed clearance. McLaughlin fires it straight at Bobby Mustoe. That's another good ball, just the faintest of touches on it there by Mike Ford. He managed to make the clearance, and Bennett will have to be quick as Simpson came tearing in, concedes a second throw. That ball aimed towards Tim Steele in the first place, and just a touch from the Oxford United number 3 to concede the throw. McLaughlin trying to trick his way past. Well, he was held up by Mike Ford. He's very good at that on the line, Paul McLaughlin. Turns quickly and just tricks the ball round the defender. On that occasion he was obstructed. There'll be an indirect free kick as the referee holds his arm aloft. So let's hope Robbie Dennison doesn't curl this straight in. Curled in there. It was a good ball, and Mickey Lewis had to make the clearance. It stopped for Keith Downing. Venus it is out on that far side. A header by Lewis, or rather by Evans. Simpson back helping his defence out. Makes the clearance. Tom Bennett. Downing in quickly. Loses out, and Bennett now makes the header back. Ford will get the opportunity to clear it, but it's a Wolves throw. I think Mike Ford felt that was going to be an Oxford ball, let it run out. It's a Wolves throw. McLaughlin with his back to goal. Back to Tim Steele. That's a good cross in. Bull pulling away on the back post. Just couldn't get over the top of Rob Mustoe's head. The clearance by Mustoe. Stein does well under pressure, and Simpson. That was good work by Simpson and Ford. And the fullback now in behind the Wolves defence. Can he get a good cross in? Well, Keith Downing had to track all the way back with him and concede the first corner to Oxford in this first half. That was exceptionally good work by Mark Steen in the first place to lay the ball up, and Oxford with a promising move down that left side, and Wolves have got to be careful not to concede a goal at this stage, Paul.
Yeah, with this 10 minutes to go before half time, obviously we don't want to go in, we don't want to concede a goal because it makes it so much more difficult. We have to get 2 then, whereas as the game stands now, 1 goal will force Oxford to come out of the shell, and they'll have to join in and open up.
And the corner be taken by probably Oxford's best player so far, Paul Simpson. The cross coming in. That's a good header at the back by Kerry Evans, and Mark Kendall grateful to see it balloon away over his crossbar and onto the North Bank terracing. Phillips with the header. Downing. Steen. Almost putting his defence in trouble there, and Steve Bull pushing on. Really, it almost seems fatuous to make any comments on the tactical flow of the game at the moment, because really it's almost as if Oxford have conceded any possibility of winning the game. And it's really just a case of whether Wolves can find the combination to unlock this Oxford defence as they line up for this free kick. They've got 7 men across the back, and Lewis, one of those, makes the header. Simpson helps on towards Steen. Venus marshals him well and puts the ball out of play. Fine tackle by Mark Venus. Phillips leaves the ball for Ford. Lewis in quickly, but Venus did very well there, but it's back into a little bit of danger. Bellamy makes the headed clearance, and Wolves will try and pull the defence out. Phillips the header on, and Steen with his arm straight across the front of Tom Bennett's face. He holds his own face as if he's been injured, but I think the foul very definitely coming in the first place from Mark Steen. Foster, the header down, and as far as Tom Bennett. Wolves get the chance to come forward again with Venus. That's a good ball in. Tim Steele's coming racing in. Kerry Evans getting the header, and Mike Ford again having to concede the throw in. And the ball rattles against the deserted Waterloo Road stand on this near side and bounces straight back for Tom Bennett to take the throw. McLaughlin trying to find space in there, does well to control it, and gets a good cross in, just away from Robbie Dennison. Bull chasing after it with Bobby Muttock. It'll be a Oxford United throw on that far side. The ball coming off the Wolves striker, but McLaughlin did very well to find the space and turn and get a good cross in there. He's a tricky customer.
Paul McLaughlin, yeah, he's very good in and around the box. I think if we can get it to Paul's feet, they've got 2 big lads, and that suits Paul down to the ground. He can twist and turn and probably get a shot in. He's very, very sharp around the box. He's a very good goal scorer.
Wolves coming forward again, this time with Keith Downing, and a saving tackle coming in from Les Phillips, and now the crowd start to get behind Wolves. Dennison, the cross in, Steele! Well, had it been one of the taller members of the Wolves team, perhaps we'd have seen an opening goal there. Tim Steele, not the biggest of men, jumped as well as he could, but just couldn't get a head on it, and he was open and really might have expected to score from a very good cross from Robbie Dennison. But the Oxford United defence beginning to open up a little bit, gaps appearing, Steve Foster shouting at his fellow defenders to try and get them to concentrate. But very difficult to defend like this for 90 minutes. Now McLaughlin on that far side, lays it back for Thompson. Nigel Vaughan looks up and considers his options, and that wasn't the best choice. An Oxford throw on this side. Downing in quickly again, does well to bring it down and control it, lays the ball out for Tim Steele. Across towards the far side, but it'll be easily cleared by Gary Smart, but again it drops to Keith Downing. Lays it back for Mark Venus. McLaughlin trying to lay it into the path of Keith Downing, but now Steen in a one-on-one quickly Wolves get back. But on that far side, there's an overlap from Oxford as they come forward in numbers. Mustoe tries to feed it out to the far side, and Mark Venus in with a saving challenge on Gary Smart. He had to make that challenge, and he had to make it count. Oxford had suddenly got numbers forward, and Wolves could well have been caught out. But Mickey Lewis now, inside to Mark Steen. Gets the return ball. Mustoe. Got his way around the back. Goal kick. Just let it run too far. But Oxford coming forward with about 5 players there and could well have caught Wolves out at the back there, Paul.
Yeah, I think obviously there's only 5 minutes to go. We've got to be very careful. I think if we can just blot them out. Mark Venus and Gary Mellamy have been outstanding in the first half. The distribution of the ball's been superb. And obviously when Mark was called upon to make an important challenge, he was well up to it there.
Well, yes, not many minutes left in the first half. But Wolves have still got plenty of time to take the lead into the dressing room, and Oxford will be hoping to keep it at 0-0 till half-time. Ball just gone out of play. Be a throw into Oxford. Tim Steele, or rather it's a Wolves throw to come off the defender. Tim Steele felt the ball hadn't gone out of play. McLaughlin. Tight play in there, but good work. Keith Downing fires one, that's in the top corner. What a superb goal from Keith Downing. Well, he looked up, Paul Cook sitting to my left said hit it, and he did just that, and fired it past Alan Judge into the top left-hand corner of the net. One of the best goals seen at Molineux this season. Cracking goal, Paul.
Yeah, I think Keith fully deserved that. He's been outstanding in the first half. He's worked so hard. His distribution's been good. And obviously, at this stage of the game, he's got the ball 25 yards out, and he's got nothing to lose. Just let fly, and it's flew in the top corner. Tremendous goal by Keith.
Yes, and that's certainly livened up the Wolves fans here. It's the type of goal this game certainly needed. Brought the crowd to life. There's a bit of celebration going on the South Bank, and a perfect time to score. Just over 5 minutes to go in the first half. And Wolves take the lead through Keith Downing. Now will Oxford come forward. Wolves will need to be on their guard. It's always said that teams are at their most vulnerable just after they've scored. And Graham Turner will be eager to see his side go in with this lead. And now Downing, Lewis getting a good foot in. Great tackling back by the Oxford United number 4, Tom Bennett. Steele. Lewis on him, did well. He was challenged by Lewis and Simpson, earned the free kick. Dangerous position here for Oxford. Tim Steele has been the source of a lot of torment for the Oxford defence so far. It's a good one in by Nigel Vaughan, and the header's there. Just back across the goal, but still get a chance to put it in again, and Alan Judge comes and collects it. It's going to be a real test of the Oxford United defence now. And no little test of their attack. They're a goal behind now and really need to go in search of an equaliser. They can't sit back and hope to get a point with a 0-0. Les Phillips will take this free kick. In fact, he leaves it for his captain. Steve Foster touches it to Mike Ford, gets the return. Into the edge of the area for Simpson. And Lewis fires one. That was a tremendous attempt from Mickey Lewis. Fully 28 yards out. Struck it. And only a yard above Mark Kendall's bar. And we almost saw a spectacular reply to Keith Downing's spectacular opening goal. Probably Oxford's best opportunities are going to come from strikes like that, Paul.
Yeah, obviously they're not going to get too much in the box, and we've just got to be careful. Now we've got a goal in front. Oxford have got to come out and start playing, but we can't let the pace stop. We've got to keep going at them, and we'll get it to 2, maybe 3.
Certainly that's what the Wolves management and the fans will want this afternoon. A convincing win. And the ball just coming off Tim Steele. He wasn't very impressed with that. Has a word with the referee. He felt it was probably a Wolves throw. United are now with Steen. He's a very tricky customer. Didn't get anywhere, but kept possession. That's a difficult cross for Mark Kendall to deal with. It goes out of play on that far side. Difficult swirling cross coming in from Mike Ford there, and had the Wolves keeper in two minds. But fortunately for him, just a little too long and out of play for a goal kick. Steen and Venus challenging there, and the former Luton man going in a little too aggressively on Mark Venus there. Earns the free kick. And it was a brave piece of defending there by Bobby Muttock. Dived in at a low ball which Paul McLaughlin couldn't see him coming and tried to flick the ball on, and Muttock, for his pains, got a boot in the face. He plays on and they head another good one by Foster. Kerry Evans in quickly though to make the clearance. Now Simpson takes on Bennett, but it's Keith Downing back there. Well, the referee seemed to wait to see what would happen and awarded the free kick for the foul on Simpson after the tackle had been made on Steen. But I think possibly it was a free kick in the first place. The referee, waiting to see if there was an advantage, called it back. It's aimed towards the headband of Steve Foster. Tim Steele's wide open on this near side, and Dennison had made the run from his own half. The ball played through. It must have been a very, very close decision there for the linesman, Mr. Redshaw. And the red trim flag down below us. Paul Cook asserts that it was never offside. It's the linesman's decision that counts. And Oxford get us underway with a free kick. Straight towards Thompson. Vaughan, nicely played for Downing, and that's over the top for Steve Bull. But half time, the referee says we've had 45 minutes, and Steve Bull denied the opportunity to get a run on that Oxford United to goal. But Wolves lead by that solitary Keith Downing goal. Wolves 1, Oxford 0. The referee, Keith Hackett, gets us underway with Oxford United attacking the goal to our right, but trailing by that spectacular first half goal from Keith Downing. That'll brought a bit of cheer to the Wolves fans who've been a little bit disappointed over the Easter period, to say the least. Bellamy in quickly. Mustoe hoists it forward. Bellamy will have to hurry as Steen comes in behind him. Quickly out to Tom Bennett on that far side. Bull in there behind the Wolves, the Oxford defence again. That's a good cross from Steve Bull, and Nigel Vaughan gets the cross back across. Volleyed the cross in there. Nigel Vaughan did exceptionally well. Steve Bull had cut away to the right, put over a swirling cross that beat everybody and almost beat Nigel Vaughan, but a skillful Welshman threw a left boot at it and volleyed it back across the goal into what could have been a very dangerous area for Oxford United. Lewis chipped forward towards Steen, but Vaughan in there. Downing under pressure from Robbie Mustoe. Phillips to Mustoe, playing just in front of his defence, and Oxford has certainly come out in a far more positive attitude in the second half. But now McLaughlin, it's 2-on-3, Steele on the far side. Dennison just straight offside as the ball cut back by Paul McLaughlin. But Tim Steele was having a right old battle on the far side with Mike Ford. Ford was trying to hang on to his shirt. Steele was trying to shake him off. Steen, but Venus in quickly. Lewis. Mustoe. The Wolves pushing up onto this Oxford United back four now, and squeezing them into their own half. And that's quick work by Downing, and Phillips tries to take the ball off Dennison, and the ball aimed through for Bull, but it's carried on for Steele. Well, Steele turns away in disgust at his own attempt. Not too happy there to have shot the ball wide from a promising position, but had Steve Bull been able to get a toe on it, he'd have been in with a chance on goal. Gary Smart trying to leap over the top of Robbie Dennison there, but Thompson comes forward now. Leaves it for Dennison. It's a good ball inside for Keith Downing. Can he try another of those spectacular shots? Thompson. That's aimed towards Bull on that far side. A header away by Kerry Evans. Tom Bennett in quickly. Nigel Vaughan puts a foot on it, plays it short inside for McLaughlin. Played back for Thompson. It's all Wolves again. Robbie Mustoe seeing the opportunity, throws a boot in there and just concedes a throw in. Thompson dummies Mustoe and fires the cross in hard. A clearance by Evans comes to Steen. He's really their only release from pressure. Lays the ball back just out of the reach of Steve Bull and into the safety of Alan Judge's gloves. It's a free kick. Bit of elbow, says the referee. Paul McLaughlin ran straight into the referee there as he went to go past. A little bit of a smile from him. He gets the ball back and brought tumbling down by Robbie Mustoe, but it was well won by the Oxford United number 8. Ball played well around in there by the Wolves midfield, and now Vaughan in with the opportunity, just took the ball off Mickey Lewis's toe, almost creating the chance for himself to have a shot from the edge of the area, but it ran just a little too far, and Ford able to steer it back to Alan Judge. And now Mustoe in, challenging with Thompson, knocks it a little too far. It's a goal kick. Referee Keith Hackett signalling that it was a dive from Robbie Mustoe, and the small number of Oxford United fans up on that south bank not getting too excited about things. Foster's there with McLaughlin. Vaughan as well. Good challenge by Mustoe. It's a foul. Oh, Mustoe going, tearing in, throws a late boot in after the free kick had been awarded to United. The referee has a quick word, but Les Phillips will get us restarted with the free kick. Well, it's a false start. And it's dropped well for Simpson. Steen now finds his, well, he found himself room but couldn't get the ball onto his left foot properly for the shot. That's a dangerous cross towards the far post, and Tom Bennett having to concede the corner. That's the first corner of the second half. And some pressure beginning to be applied here by Oxford. They're very capable of snatching a goal. And were they to do so, that would really start to increase the anxiety in this Wolves side, as they desperately need a victory. 1 point is not good enough. 3 is essential. The corner comes in. Good punch by Kendall. Throw in on this near side. Well, Mark Kendall came and elected to punch. But the throw will be delayed for a moment as substitute John Jernin comes on for Bobby Muttock. Jernin is an out-and-out striker, and Muttock has been playing very much a defensive role in the first half. Obviously, Oxford manager Brian Horton deciding that they want to try and earn something from this game. They may have little to play for in the league, but it's always a matter of professional pride. You want to win every game you play, and they'll be looking for a victory here. They would look at it as their duty to the rest of those aiming for promotion. Vaughan plays it straight into Mustoe, and Venus went flying through Mark Steen there, just got a touch on the ball, but really could have left himself in trouble there. That's not a good kick by Mark Kendall, but Nigel Vaughan brings it nicely down, and Bull picks it up and feeds Tim Steele. That's a good ball for Bull. It's Kerry Evans gets the header in though. Tom Bennett. Tim Steele had just checked back inside for a moment and misread the pass. Unfortunate for Wolves. Mark Venus one-on-one with Mark Steen. Does well. The first time ball straight back to Mark Kendall. 3 marks out of 3. McLaughlin, well, I think Evans brought him down. Yes, the referee awards the free kick. A dangerous position will no doubt be shouts for Robbie Dennison to have a try from here. He'll look up and see Alan Judge get in the wall in line. Keith Downing stands over it, and Robbie Dennison lining it up, puts one hand up. Dennison curls it in. There's an offside flag though. That's a disappointment. The set piece, a good opportunity for Wolves, but it comes to nothing. Mark Venus across quickly. The header on by Robbie Dennison. McLaughlin does well to hold it up, but Mickey Lewis in hard and fast. Dennison now gets a trip from Les Phillips and holds his back. That'll be a worrying sign for the Wolves bench. He's had 1 or 2 injury problems this season, Keith Downing, and they won't want to lose him at this vital stage of the game, particularly as he's having such a good match. But the sun beginning to come out. Very pleasant afternoon now at Molineux, and a pleasant result if it stays this way for the Wolves fans. Phillips. Steen tried to keep it in. Unfortunate for the South African born striker. The ball just trickling out of play for a Wolves throw. But a much more even start to this second half, Paul.
Yeah, I think obviously Oxford have decided they've got to play 2 men up front if they're going to get in and out of the game, and now they're stopping us playing a bit, which is making the game a lot more evenly balanced, whereas in the first half we could get forward in numbers. Now it's more of a contest.
Certainly is. As we'd pointed out, Oxford really probably dug their own grave. And that ball taken quickly. Well, Mark Steen had the opportunity to take it quickly to Robbie Mustoe there. I don't think Mustoe was thinking as quickly as him. Alan Judge will have to come out, does so, fires it forward, and that's over the top. There's a linesman's flag now. It looked suspiciously like Paul Simpson was onside because that ball was played well before he strayed into an offside position. The flag came up very late. Vaughan gets the header out to that far side. The linesman keeps his flag down on this occasion. But as Alan Judge cleared that ball, I think there was a question that Simpson might have been onside there, Paul.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to say because we had men coming out and they had men going forward. So obviously the linesman, he's given two decisions now, one with Robbie Dennis in the first half and another one there where they are the very, very close decisions, and they could always go either way.
Difficult for the linesman, but I suppose in those situations they tend to err on the side of the defence. Bennett does well to get the cross in. And that's a great effort there by Paul McLaughlin. I don't know whether it really was an attempted effort on goal or whether it was a cross, but we'll give him the benefit of the doubt because it was an excellent piece of work by the former Hereford United striker. Thompson, the flick goes the wrong way, but he'll get a chance to clear it now, but it'll go straight out of play for an Oxford throw. Gary Smart to take it. Mustoe holds it up well and earns another throw off Andy Thompson. Steen. Dennison in hard. Smart did well, and Lewis now to Simpson. He had a good opening to the first half. He's been a little quieter since then, but Wolves have got to be on their guard. 1 goal lead is not sufficient cushion to feel safe at the moment. Oxford have got some quality strikers that could well cause problems. Thompson in to Bull, gets the flick on. That was a good flick on by Steve Bull, but nobody really making capital out of it. Ball aimed forward, John Durnin jumping for it and trying to get his first touch since he came on a substitute. But he'll have to wait for that. As McLaughlin challenges Ford, and Steele now supplies it to McLaughlin. Now Durning gets his first touch, but straight to Mark Venus, and Bull's underneath it with Evans. Drops to Robbie Dennison, won't come to his foot as he would have liked, but he lays it out to Tim Steele on that far side, and now Wolves are forward in numbers. There's an offside flag though. 1 too many numbers. Takes them behind the Oxford United defence at the wrong time. And the indirect free kick for the offside. I don't think it was outside the area, but that's where they take it from. No, Alan Judge will take it from inside the area to his captain, Steve Foster. Smart. Thompson makes the header. Dennison fouled there, I think, by Gary Smart. Well, the referee disagreed with me, and it's his opinion that counts after all. And Ford fires it forward. Venus had to be quick as steam was threatening. Downing just chipped forward, but Kerry Evans will loft it. Venus, neither side being able to string a set of passes together at the moment, but that's better for Wolves as McLaughlin tries the return to Bull, and Foster's not the fastest in the world. Bull's in. Alan Judge did exceptionally well to come and close down the Wolves striker. That's where Wolves could have the opportunity, because the ball played over the back of Foster. He's not the fastest player I've ever seen, and Steve Bull overtook him even though he had to make up 5 yards. Got in, got the shot, but Alan Judge, alive to the danger, quickly off his line, closed it down and made a good save with his legs. But a great opportunity for Steve Bull there, Paul.
Yeah, it was great. I think it was the biggest thing of all, like Steve and Paul McLaughlin, they made the chance between them. He gets a lot of things he gets is through his own hard work and his own endeavour. There, it was a ball that's bounced over himself and Foster, yet he's proved as strong at getting there. He's got a yard and he's crashed a great shot in. He's so unlucky.
Wolves will count themselves a little unfortunate. There have been a couple of good opportunities, apart from the spectacular goal from Keith Downing, but they still lead. It's 15 minutes gone in the second half, and they're 1-0 ahead. Graham Turner, usually down on the bench with about 15 minutes to go, but he's been down there for most of the second half already. And the flick on from Bull into McLaughlin, and the return to Vaughan now, fires one in low and hard. Alan Judge gets behind it, but that was good work by Wolves, and in particular Paul McLaughlin. Challenging in the air with Steve Foster can't be easy, but the ball dropping for Nigel Vaughan, and a good chance for Vaughan as he came through. He did the important thing, he made the keeper save. Ball in the air, Downing underneath it. John Durnin claiming the foul, but a referee having none of it. But that one will be the foul by Gary Smart on Robbie Dennis, and just inside the Wolves half. The offence occurred inside the Wolves half, but the free kick will be taken inside the United half. Hit too long. Steve Bull complaining he got a bit of a push in the back, but even given that, I don't think he'd have had much opportunity of getting to that one. Steen gets the flick on, and Bellamy, cool as you like, helps it back to Mark Kendall. Gary Bellamy certainly on the top of his form in the past few games, Paul.
Yeah, I think he's consistently week in, week out. He's by far one of our better players. He never seems to let people down. For the centre half, he's very, very comfortable on the ball, which is very rare, like for a lot of centre halves. Normally they like to just get it and give it, but Gary can put his foot on the ball and play.
Wolves, two substitutes warming up down below us. A couple of options for Graham Turner. He's got Paul Jones and John Paskin. Paskin, of course, has had an unlucky season. He got his chance in the side and was playing well in a wide position. And Wolves were playing well just after Christmas, but he got an unfortunate foot injury, and he's been out of contention ever since. But he'll be glad to be back on the bench and hoping for a chance to get on this afternoon and show what he can do. But that's John Durnin for Oxford now. The cross aim towards Steen, but Venus in quickly. Clearance only as far as Mike Ford. Phillips. Venus the clearance. This time Bull brings it down. Nice control, and not a good ball from him. The flick towards Mustoe from Steen. Lays it inside Phillips in space, and just behind Les Phillips there, Wolves could have found themselves in trouble. Mark Venus makes the clearance again. It's over the top of Steve Foster. Bull trying to get round him. Foster slips. Now he's got a chance to go past him. Not Bull's greatest strength, but he fires one, and what a great goal! Well, just a measure of the man. He looked to have no opportunity. Found the space around Steve Foster, and as he was falling, Bull fired the shot in, and really Alan Judge had no opportunity in the Oxford United goal. It just flew past him. You have to feel sorry for the Oxford United goalkeeper. Two shots he's had no chance of saving. Wolves 2, Oxford 0. Another great goal, Paul.
Without that's top class finish. And again, Bully, like we were saying before, a lot of the time he makes it for himself. He's battled away, he's got half a chance, and he's finished top quality, superb finishing.
Yeah, that's really brought the Wolves fans to life again away to our right. Now a little bit of atmosphere begins to build up in Molineux. Anticipation, perhaps they can make that playoff place. Certainly that will relieve a little bit of anxiety. 1 goal lead is never sufficient to feel happy. 2 goals will relieve a little bit of the palpitations that are caused when Oxford attack. The cry from the South Bank is England's number 9, and maybe if Bobby Robson sees finishing like that, Steve Bull could be spending his summer holidays in Italy. One never knows. You just can't rule out a player that can score goals from apparently nothing like that. Would you like to see him in the England squad for Italy there, Paul?
Yeah, I think he's made himself a must for the England squad. I mean, the last couple of games he's been on the bench, and I don't know, obviously I don't know what Bobby Robson thinks. I think Gary Lineker and Peter Beardsley may be his first options, but I'm sure Bully will be on the bench, and the first opportunity that anything goes wrong or anything, he'll have Bully on.
Paul McLaughlin tried to take it in his stride. He does that so well. I remember him doing that up at Blackburn in the 3-2 victory where he scored 2 and got him behind the Blackburn defence. He seems to judge the dropping ball very well. On that occasion, though, just overhit it and out for the throw. And that's handball by Robbie Mustoe. Well, a little bit of a push. I thought the free kick had been given for handball against the Oxford number 8. In fact, there was a little bit of a push before that. Well spotted by referee Keith Hackett, and it'll give Steve Foster the chance to pump it forward. Mustoe slips. Throw into Wolves. There's only one home match left here this season. Wolves face Sunderland in 7 days' time, and this will be an important victory if they can earn the 3 points this afternoon to put them in the right mood for that game. That's a lovely ball outside by McLaughlin for Steele. Racing round now. Tries to get the crossing, but good work by Mike Ford. Just getting across, gets a boot in and concedes the corner, which remarkably is Wolves' first of this second half. Curled in by Robbie Dennison and misses everybody. Mark Venus tangling for it with Mike Ford. Now Steen, it's 2-on-2 here. Ball bounces up, an appeal for handball, but Steen turns, plays the ball across for Simpson. He's got space, and Wolves back in numbers now. And that's laid up for Les Phillips, fires it, and it took a ricochet off Mark Venus, I think, and away for a corner. But Wolves, just for a moment, a little stretch there, and could have found themselves in trouble. Oxford's second corner of this half. Simpson it is to take it. You look for the sweat-banded head. Oh, Bull was there making the headed clearance. So often is the case. He gets back to help his defence on corners and makes the header away. He made the header off the line in the last few minutes against West Bromwich Albion. That was so vital. Bellamy forward, and McLaughlin does well to control it. Almost gets the ball out to Bull. Venus, that's a tremendous ball for Steele, and Judges had to come off his line and had to be quick. Just out to play on that far side. But Mark Venus saw that Tim Steele was totally unmarked on that far side and swung the ball out there. And Alan Judge very quickly off his line, almost playing as a sweeper, the Oxford United keeper. Phillips will help it onto Mustoe. The overlap from Smart. Oxford coming forward, that's gone out of play. Well, just in case the linesman hadn't spotted it, everybody on the south bank pointed it out. The throw taken quickly. Good header by Gary Smart down to Robbie Mustoe and Steen. A neat side, Oxford. They can string the passes together, and Wolves will need to keep working hard to deny them the space. That's a good ball inside for Mark Steen. A great challenge by Keith Downing, uncompromising sort of challenge we've come to expect from him. Kerry Evans with the header. Bennett down. Helped on by Steele. Foster. Ford does well to set it up for himself for the volley. Bennett chips it forward, but Bull just straight offside. He points across to Kerry Evans, who he felt was playing him onside, but I think he knows himself he'd just taken a step back. I think he was offside there, Paul.
Yeah, I think so. The linesman's got a great view there. It wasn't a close one. He's looked across, and obviously I think Bully's been on line with the fella at least, and he's given him offside.
Dennison just getting a toe in. Inside to Nigel Vaughan, gets the return. Nice work. Out to Tom Bennett on that far side. Curled around the outside. Tom Bennett's another one who's been very consistent since he came back into the side, Paul.
Yeah, Tom, he's only a young lad, and obviously like he's still learning the game, but he's come on and he's played in some good games, some good wins up at Newcastle and games like that, and it's just good experience for him, and he's getting better every week.
Certainly showing a lot of confidence and gets a good cross in there. Could drop for Nigel Vaughan. Judge has to drop on it quickly. Foster tried to get the header in, but not as effective as he'd have liked. And Alan Judge, who really has had quite a good game, and apart from that one misjudged cross, he's had a good game, and you really couldn't give him any price of getting to either of the shots that have beaten him so far this afternoon. Nearly 25 minutes gone in this second half, and Wolves lead by 2-0, but now Les Phillips coming forward, chips it inside, Steen offside, just strayed a little too far. Been a few of those decisions that have been a little marginal, but the attackers, when they're pushing up and trying to just gain that yard on the defence, are always going to stray into offside positions, and it's a real test of the concentration of the linesmen. They have to be on their mettle for 90 minutes. Steen back to Mustoe. Mickey Lewis aiming it through for Phillips, who's really taken an advanced position in this second half as they go in search of a goal to get them back in contention. Tim Steele, Lewis across quickly to concede the throw. Mickey Lewis in that Oxford United midfield will have a ring of familiarity about him. He looks remarkably similar to former Wolves player Mick Gooding. Plays a lot like him as well. Strong. It's he who lays it through for John Durnin, who tries to go past Gary Bellamy for pace. I think Bellamy appreciating that, just giving him a little buffet there and conceding the obstruction. Not Gary's greatest attribute, pace, Paul.
No, but it's very rare he gets caught for pace because he's so intelligent.
That's a good cross. Well, just at the back post there, the familiar headband of Steve Foster had just pulled away and gained a yard to create the header, but not a good one, and it goes away harmlessly for a goal kick. As you're saying, Gary Bellamy reads the game so well, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he never lets himself get caught in situations one-on-one where the fella can outrun him. He always either holds his ground, stands up, or he reads interceptions really well. So it never comes to the stage where it's 1v1 where the lad's pace could outdo Gary.
That's a nice touch inside, but Venus there to make the clearance. The header just inches away from Robbie Dennison, but Nigel Vaughan chips it neatly over the top for Dennison. A cross in towards Bull, and the referee throws his arms wide to signify that it's play on. Bull appeared to have been brought down by Mike Ford there, and one has to say that, knowing Steve Bull, he'd always try and keep his feet. He's not the sort of player who'd dive in those positions to try and earn a penalty. He'd always rather try and get the chance on goal. So there has to be a suspicion that it was a foul, but it wasn't a penalty because the referee said it wasn't a penalty. Smart, under pressure from McLaughlin, good work from McLaughlin, but the ball forward now to Steen. Holding it up well and neatly plays it back to Robbie Mustoe. Lewis, not a good ball though, and Downing tries to play it round the back for Bull. He's in behind Kerry Evans, but Evans stretches out a long leg and gets it back to Alan Judge. But a good ball, well spotted there by Keith Downing. Just a little bit too close to Kerry Evans, and good work by the Oxford United number 6. Ball underneath it, but a header away. And McLaughlin, it's just straight offside as the ball was played forward. Free kick which Evans will take. Slips as he does so, but the ball still goes forward, and Venus makes a good header, but Phillips stealing it off Nigel Vaughan. Now he could be in. The ball just wouldn't drop, and Mark Venus makes a flying challenge. That could well be a penalty. Well, I think that probably evened things up. That very definitely looked like a penalty from where we are. The challenge on Robbie Mustoe from Mark Venus, a little bit dangerous. Looked very much like a penalty, and maybe that's evened things up. Probably that was more of a penalty than the challenge on ball, you think, Paul?
Yeah, I think that obviously I think we're a bit lucky there. It looked a penalty from here, but the linesman had a good view and the referee as well, and they both agreed that it wasn't a penalty. So I think we can count ourselves a little bit lucky, but at the end of the day it's their decisions.
You often find though that referees tend to even these things up when there's been an appeal at one end, the following appeal at the other end, unless it's outright and obvious, often gets turned down.
Yeah, it does. I mean, sometimes in certain games when things aren't going too well, you need a penalty. You need a little free kick around the box, something where you might get a pinch a goal. And I think Oxford might have got back in the game there. So from being dead, they might have got back involved in a good match.
Certainly Oxford in desperate need of a goal now, with just about 15 minutes to go. 2 goals they trail, and 2 superb goals at that. Brian Horton was up off the bench and using a few words you won't find in a school dictionary when he realised that they hadn't earned the penalty for what he thought was an obvious one. But Dennison chasing round, but Smart does well and makes the clearance. Wolves just perhaps gone off the ball a little bit in the last 10 minutes. Perhaps Graham Turner will consider the introduction of a substitute to liven things up. Maybe John Paskin could be introduced, Paul?
Yeah, I think at this stage though the gaffer will be looking and he'll be thinking like there's 15 minutes to go with 2-0. He might just put the subs out just to get the lads going again, just to see if he could liven things up. But at 2-0 up we look very comfortable, and I think he'll be quite pleased with the way everything's gone.
Well, he has to be delighted really to get the promotion playoffs back in their sights and the push for the First Division back on the rails. Great header from Gary Bellamy, but well controlled by Les Phillips, and outside Simpson now cuts back. The cross coming in from forward, it's a good cross, drops for John Durning, gets a header in, and Mark Kendall deals with it easily, but Durning probably will be disappointed with that, because it was a great cross from Mike Ford, and Durning found himself in space and really should have tested Mark Kendall more with the header, Paul.
Yeah, I think he should. I think he'll be a bit disappointed, John Durning there. He's a good goal scorer, and with a free header from 6 yards out, I think he'll be very disappointed.
The Wolves come forward with Nigel Vaughan again. The ball aimed towards Tim Steele. Yes. A little bit of a late challenge there from Gary Bellamy and Mark Steen. Referee, having no choice, has a quick word with the Wolves captain as he runs past. A free kick to Oxford, and the crowd gone a little quiet again, as have Wolves. They'll need to keep themselves tight at the back. A goal at this stage would start to make things a little anxious again. Simpson. Important that they concentrate now, Paul.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's very important that we concentrate. I mean, we've got to just keep it right, and we've just got to not give nothing away. I think the gaffer's decided to give John Paskin a run out. He's a big fella, just for a change, like.
Yes, and Paul McLaughlin, who's done some sterling work, really played well so far this afternoon. No reflection on him, I'm sure, as John Paskin comes on for his first run out from the substitutes bench, and he's going to be delighted to be back into the side. Paskin gets the chance to run after it, wins the ball well, turns, doesn't leave it for Robbie Dennison, wants to have a go himself, creates space, fires the shot, and what a great opening for John Paskin. Comes on the pitch, only been on 2 minutes, and that would have been a tremendous start if he could have put the ball in the back of the net in his first appearance in the Wolves side this year. Stein turns quickly. Plays it back for Foster. That's a ball that put Mustoe, well, Mustoe has a little kick at Thompson. Wasn't happy with Thompson's challenge. A little bit of a petulant player, Robbie Mustoe. He's a very skillful player and a strong player, but really if he concentrated a bit more on playing the game, he'd maybe do a little better, Paul.
Yeah, I think he's a central midfield player, and I think they're playing out wide right today, and I think he lacks a little bit of pace to play outside right, and I don't think he's too happy with that. But as you say, he's wanting to get involved in a little one or two little off the ball things now, which our lads don't need to do. We're 2-0 up, we're going well, and they don't really look like scoring. We've just got to keep our heads.
Mark Campbell comes and collects it at the second attempt. A little bit of an anxious moment there in the Wolves defence, and Bull gets a good flick on, Paskin after it. Well, he'll be really on his toes, John Paskin. Gary Bellamy, aware of just about how much time he had to play that back, and he was probably the coolest person inside Molineux as he played the ball back to Mark Campbell. Robbie Dennison has pulled out right onto the touchline on the left hand side, out and out left wing position as Paskin and Bull go marauding down the middle. Fearsome sight for any defence, and Paskin wins the chance for Bull now with one of those fearsome challenges. Bull outside to steal, Paskin's on the back post, the cross comes across and Foster just gets a toe in. Paskin holds onto the post and thinks, oh, what might have been there. He nearly got in at the back post to score. And what a spectacular return to the first team that would have been, but a good opportunity there, Paul.
Yeah, I think Bully's worked hard again. He's got the ball out to Tim Steele, a nice early cross, he's put it in, and Foster's done quite well. He's come in and nicked it away. It'd have been nice for John to get a goal there, because obviously you need a goal for your confidence, and it'll do him the world of good to get on the score sheet.
Cross comes in towards the front post, the header on by Bellamy, drops for Bennett, tries to volley it, but does well to turn and lay it off for Robbie Dennison. Nice little pirouette. A header away by Foster, a good one. Picked up by Dennison again. Plays it back to Mark Venus, build again. John Paskin running around like a young colt up there as he chases after everything that's fired forward at the moment. His first chance in the Wolves side since the FA Cup match against Sheffield Wednesday, of course. And now he gets the ball on that far side. Looks up, cuts inside, calls them close and lays the ball to Keith Downing. Wolves can afford to keep a bit of possession now. Tim Steele threatens the cross, then makes it. The header away by Evans. Drops for Downing, and he does exceptionally well to volley it straight to Andy Thompson. Evans will have to hurry. Makes the clearance. Venus the header back. Smart. Goes to volley it, and Paskin's there. Well, he seems to be on the end of everything at the moment, John Paskin. Understandably, he's very keen. Oh, the referee stops the throw in. It's another substitution. Steve McLaren will come on to replace Robbie Mustoe. Perhaps Brian Horton spotted that, what we'd spotted, that Mustoe wasn't really concentrating on his game. And Steve McLaren gets his opportunity. But Andy Thompson will get the chance to put one of his long throws in. It's aimed towards Paskin. It's over the top of Foster. In at the back post comes Steele, and just caught by Alan Judge as Tim Steele put in a testing little header back across the Oxford goal. Venus in quickly, great header by him, but couldn't be directed to a Wolves player. It'll be a throw in on that far side to be taken by Mickey Ford. Mark Venus just getting it back to Mark Campbell. Well, some of the Wolves fans begin to stream away off the South Bank terracing. They've seen enough. They're sure that Wolves have earned the victory with the 2 goals from Keith Downing and Steve Bull. But the opera's not over till the fat lady sings, as they say, and Oxford could well come back into it yet. It only takes a minute to score a goal. And Simpson there on the edge of the area gets a good cross. Oxford forward in numbers, but it wasn't a good cross from Simpson. He created the space for himself and couldn't pick out Steen or Gary Smart, who was unmarked on the back post, and really a little bit of a disappointment there. The referee warning Wolves that he won't allow any time wasting. Dennison, seen Paskin making the run. Judge again having to come out of his area to make the clearance. Wolves quickly out, catching 3 of the Oxford United players offside. Venus takes the free kick, and in turn Wolves find themselves offside behind the Oxford United defence. But it's looking like a certain 3 points now, Paul, and a good result for Wolves.
Yeah, it's a great result. It just means that we can now keep going and look forward to not just like letting the season filter away without nothing. We've got 3 games to go, and if we just keep winning each of them games as they come along, we'll be in the playoffs at the end of the season.
And that's exactly what Graham Turner wanted, a victory today to keep the pot boiling. Mark Kendall setting the ball up for the goal kick. And that's a good challenge in the middle there by McLaren. Simpson tries to trick his way past Bennett, and Bennett does well to get his boot in twice. Unfairly, though, the referee says second time on Steve McLaren, and it'll be a free kick to Oxford, and everyone comes forward for it. The big men, Foster and Evans, and it's aimed towards Foster on that back post, and Bellamy just gets the header out. And Foster drops on top of Gary Bellamy. I think he's injured there. The referee a little concerned about that, calls both physios onto the pitch. Well, Bellamy fell, and Foster, who's no lightweight by any means, came tumbling down on top of the Wolves captain. The 2 captains clashing, and both of them needing attention. Nasty situation, that, Paul.
Yeah, today in football, especially when anyone goes down with anything that could be nearly a head injury, you have to react quick just in case. There's been 1 or 2 occasions when people have swallowed the tongues and things like that. And as you've seen, Paul Darby was on very quick, and it appears though Gary Bellamy just fell awkwardly now, and he may get up any minute.
Yes, referee Keith Hackett did well. He saw that Bellamy was struggling, and it was a head injury. Had a bit of a, seems like some attention to the back of the neck there that Paul Darby's trying to give him. But he's up. No worse for wear. Holds his neck a little bit, yes, it looks as if it was a neck injury. The referee will want the ball to do a drop ball. Mickey Lewis, what a surprise. Mickey Lewis and Keith Downing should be the 2 players in there for the drop ball. 2 uncompromising characters, and we end up with a throw-in. In any case, Downing had to be quick there as Les Phillips was quickly on him. That ball won't beat Evans, in spite of the urgings of the Wolves fans for it to get over the top for Steve Bull, and that's a good ball. The cross coming in goes straight over Mark Kendall's bar, and really Oxford's last opportunity, I think, for an attack. Only a couple of minutes remaining on the referee's watch, and 3 points earned will put Wolves on 66 points, and it's going to be interesting to see how the rest of the season pans out now. A home game with Sunderland, as I say, in 7 days' time. That'll be followed by 2 away matches against other promotion contenders, Oldham Athletic and West Ham United. Not the easiest of run-ins, but Wolves are going to have to earn the points if they're going to earn that place in the First Division. And should they do so, of course, they will be the first team ever to go from 4th to 1st in consecutive seasons. A lot of work to go before then, and still a little bit of work left this afternoon for Steve Bull as he challenges again with Steve Foster in the air. Thompson will take the throw. Paskin in quickly. But that's 45 minutes and 2 goals, 2 spectacular goals. The first in the first half from Keith Downing, a tremendous strike from him into the top left-hand corner of Alan Judge's goal. And then in the second half, Steve Bull, creating a chance out of almost nothing, fires Wolves into a 2-goal lead and a 2-goal victory. 3 points for them, Wolves 2, Oxford United 0. Keith, I know it's a little bit of a cliche, but talk us through your goal.
Well, I mean, the ball's on the right-hand side with Tom Bennett and I think it was Paul McLaughlin, and the ball got played inside and I had a little bit of space, about 5-6 yards in front of me. I took a touch and looked up and I thought, well, I might as well have a go at this. And it's one of those goals that I never even felt it off the foot, you know. It's just one of those, it was very sweet. And I've just been speaking to the goalkeeper actually for Oxford, and he's saying he never even saw it. So it's one of those that usually either goes into the south bank or into the back of the net. But it settled us down. It was a good time to score as well.
The best goal you've ever scored, would you say?
I was just talking about, actually, I don't score many goals inside the box. I think the last one was against Blackburn, and that was just inside the box. But I should think it probably was. I mean, it was just a bit more of a cute angle, and as I said, I didn't even feel it off the foot. So I mean, it was very pleasing. I mean, it was important for us to get the goal as well. I think it was important for us to settle down, because I mean, it is frustrating, and we've had 2 bad results over Easter, and it's important that we get a goal ahead and just to settle the team down.
The manager had said in his notes in the programme that you mustn't get frustrated if you went behind, or if you hadn't scored, and you really were very patient.
I think that was the idea, to be patient. I mean, Oxford played with a sweeper, and they also packed in the midfield. So I mean, they come really for the draw and just to frustrate us. But I thought we broke down, particularly in the first half. Had a few chances and possibly could have scored more than the 2 that we did score.
It was a very spectacular strike from you, but an equally spectacular one from Steve Bull in the second half. Yes,
I mean, Bully's, we're so used to him doing those sort of things, and it was obviously important for us to get a second goal to give us a bit of a breathing space. And obviously Steve cutting inside on his right foot is always looking dangerous, and it was a superb strike to seal the game.
7th place now in the table and only 2 points behind Sunderland, who you meet next week.
That's a crucial match. I mean, the three games that we've got now are crucial, because I mean, we're playing top of the table sides. It's make or break for us. We know that we've slipped up over Easter a little bit, but we still feel in the back of our minds that we're still capable of doing it.
And on the injury front, you've been carrying a little bit of a hamstring, and I know you've just had treatment after the game. How's it feel?
Well, at the present time, it's very sore, but I mean, I was quite surprised after the Leicester game when I did do it. I thought, oh my God, I could be 2 or 3, even 4 weeks out, because it was quite painful. But over the last week, I've had some treatment with Paul Darby, and we've managed to make it quite a hell of a lot of improvement really on it. And I'm just hoping to get through the next 3 or 4 games, and hopefully into the playoffs.
Yes, only 3 games left in the season, and hopefully you'll be in all of them and the playoffs, Keith. Thanks for talking to us.